Welcome back to Refrain Chord. So yeah, we fought the second battle. Now let's actually escape the prison. Keep in mind, it didn't take me 30 minutes to escape the prison in the original game. So this should let this set the tone for how badly paced this story is.
You didn't even have the fight against Apollonius.
Well, remember, Taylor, technically this takes place after that original prison break.
That's what I mean, you know, in terms of time span.
Yeah.
Is Eryn's hairdo leaking water?
No, it's meant to be. It's meant to be
That's
sweat.
a sweat drop animation you see in anime.
The original game also had that too. Any stuff that was in the previous game, they just reused the assets, both 2D and 3D. Like even the models and the animations are still reused from the first game. Like they cut as many corners as they could. Go on.
I assume the overall idea is supposed to be that we're zooming across dots that, you know, the original game already went through, so we can get to the new stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Again, I want someone to explain to me how is it meant to be charming or funny to have Fang treat Eryn like crap like this.
Wait, what did he do there?
He's forcing her to carry his shit.
Oh, that.
So this is more like a
Wait, hold on, everyone's waiting for us, but that would imply we have the party.
We already have the party, Joe, but remember, this starts at the middle of the original storyline somehow. I don't really understand the time scale of this thing. It's very vague.
Okay, I'll admit. So we knew already that, obviously, the prison level takes place after the first prison, but damn, they didn't hint that it was this far into the game. So let me guess, at this point in the game, we pretty much have met, like, all of our party members.
Yes.
No, the big question is which party, because remember,
Yes, go on.
I was saying before I was interrupted. I was gonna say this game is basically more like a visual novel with bits of RPG elements.
Well, the previous game was also like this, Dubs.
Yeah, but this is more so from the looks of it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more cutscenes in this. Well, there's a lot more cutscene time in this game compared to the first game, and that's saying something.
I guess they must have a much more fleshed out story this time.
Well, Dubs, how about this? Does this look good to you, presentation-wise?
I mean, it's better than the original game.
I mean, it's better than some. I mean, it's better than a couple of other games that we've.
Well, then you should be fine because literally they're all like this. There's no in-game model cutscenes. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. They're all like this.
I mean, I'd rather this than something like Mighty Number 9, which has had static models half the time.
Yes, Jova.
To be fair, with all the problems we did have with Fairy Fence Ref, I don't think the presentation was one of them.
Not for nothing, Jova, but you yourself also were complaining about a lot of badly conveyed scenes in the stuff in the cutscenes as well in our original playthrough, like the stuff. True, but like not at base at the sense like, oh, sprites showing up here and there were like that bad. Like my stuff was more so with like the cutscene presentation and how stuff that like they wanted to convey this way or that way didn't make sense in regards to how they wanted to do this or that. It boils down to this, Tail. We have all of our original party before we go to the Kavari Desert. There you go.
When you say original party, I guess you mean like from the original timeline.
Yes, from the original timeline before we do the first. Before we do the first time travel. Anyway, to recap, basically nobody in the party came to save Fang because they didn't care, apparently.
We're apparently busy doing their own stuff.
So, and as soon as he learned about this, Fang decided to abandon and go back to his bugs in the prison and everything, but Eryn just stopped him.
Let me guess, this is the divergent point from the original timeline, because by these sort of events, we have now created a fork in the turn of events.
No, Jova, this game does not acknowledge any of the previous timelines. It's just its own take on the story. It seems like it. I mean,
that's my point, though. Was that this is the divergent point in that regard. This scene never happened in the original.
That is true, but it goes into the weird diversions still. Like, but we'll see how it goes.
Also, does that mean that technically, they also have met people like Zenke already?
Yes. So as you can see already, this is not newcomer friendly at all. A newcomer is not gonna know what the heck they're talking. Who the hell are these people? What are they talking about? Yes, they do some throwaway lines here and there that explain some minor things, but it's not. I will argue it's not enough. I definitely argue that you have to play at least the PS3 original before you play this, because the game is not really newcomer friendly, like, at all. So yeah, we already into chapter 2.
Despite this technically taking place in the middle of the plot, we have no fairies or furies, essentially.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Even though technically by this point in the story, you
Look,
should have
everyone
quite a
is
few.
here.
See, there you go, Joe.
Hey,
There's
one of those photo moments.
CGs. In visual novels, these particular are known as CGs.
What the hell is that pizza that I'm spotting?
Oh no.
What the fuck?
Well, tell Blend Bahus is the one who makes the food.
The rest of the food looks great! Why did you fuck up the pizza?
No.
I don't know what
Shut
to
up!
I don't know what to tell you, Teo. Sorry.
It's okay, Tio. That pizza will go to a better or worse.
Anyway, Fang asked for a speech about the return of their leader. So QE will do the speech right here.
Eh.
Oh boy.
Oh dear lord, Tiara sounds horny in the voice acting.
Well,
Which, to be fair, given how she was in the game,
yes, she still loves verbal abuse in this version. Although, to be fair, the joke is slightly toned down in this version, if that helps you.
okay, I don't want to doubt the localizers or translators or whatnot, but I wonder.
Jova, actually, that's not that you don't, but I do in a couple of seconds. But finish your point.
I wonder if part of the reason a lot of the more racier jokes from the original may have been toned down was maybe they are still in the original version, but the translators chose to tone that down.
No, Jova, like I already told you, this America just sucks at translating.
Well, keep in mind, this is Idea Factory International, but yeah, some nice America.
Jova was questioning why
here we go.
between the first version and the other.
This uppity bitch.
There we go.
Good time.
Yep. Yeah, the food's getting cold, so...
Just eat.
Do not want to waste
fuck's
this
sake.
food.
In fact, there's something I want to mention.
But what if we're not hungry?
Then...
Sounds like a you problem.
Sounds like a you problem, my friend.
I mean, sorry, I had a giant buffet today, I'm not hungry.
Well, okay, if you had a giant buffet, one, why are you wasting money when you know you already have flipping Bahus to cook you king
I got
food?
it. I got the food for my dog. He'll eat it.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. No, it's when Ollie comes in that there's an upcoming joke right here with Eryn that I really have to question the localizers on this. Yeah, there you go. Right after this. So once again, she wants to molest Eryn, of course. As usual. Okay. And now here's... Yeah. Unsubscribe... How does that joke even make sense in this context? Unsubscribe...
Okay.
That's literally internet lingo and used out of context. Like, couldn't you at the very least put that? That's like a strange. That's like a strange level of inappropriate use of terms. Go ahead. Just to guys give you an idea. See, there is no line of dialogue that warrants unsubscribe line. Go on, Joe.
Oh, I see they give you a replay function to even re-listen.
The original game also had that. Combat Hearts games always have this. Go on.
Okay,
It's the
I'll admit I
equivalent
don't...
of that moment in the Woody Woodpecker movie where he makes a Tinder joke and says wipe left.
Go on, Jova.
Okay, like, at best I could say that the unsubscribe thing is like, that's some lingo I've heard for when people are, well, like Tio said, doing the swipe left thing, like essentially rejecting a date on a dating profile, but even still, in that case, that implies that Eryn was considering dating Harley, which, okay, I guess maybe that means she's rejecting Harley?
Oh no,
Which-
Jova, that's not the thing. The thing is that the joke makes sense because of what you just said. The term of subscribe using for dating website. The problem is that it's anachronistic with the in-universe laws. If the characters roamed around using smartphones and using the equivalent of an internet system, it would probably be more intuitive, more plausible in universe. The problem is that it doesn't, and even the previous jokes had only a couple of meta stuff and not necessarily anachronistic jokes.
To be fair, in regards to the anachronism stew here, we have seen that they do have some high-tech stuff, especially with the Dorfa Corporation, and the fact that we have fairies who can legit just be full-on robots, so part of me does wonder if maybe they do have that kind of technology, or maybe it's a case similar to Time and Eternity where they just spout off all this vernacular dialogue regardless of whether or not we've
even
seen it.
simpler than that. The first game did not have that. There's a clear vital difference in the type that's used.
Clearly, because the original game localization didn't have this kind of humor in it, so it feels inconsistent.
Question. Are there many moments like this in the game?
Not many, but when there is one, it does stick out like a sore thumb. Like,
In that case, I have to wonder if maybe the Japanese writers actually did include that meta text dialogue because, okay, if this were like something added in by the translators, I'd think that stuff would be like more common to show how original and different it is. But if it's in like very rare moments, I have to wonder if it was just the translators translating what the original writers put. Like, I mean, unless we have like a full-on text dialogue of the original Japanese version, I guess it's kind of up in the air. I mean, regardless, though, I think we can agree that dialogue is weird, even by Fairy French rough standards.
Yeah, that was the point.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ryushin's voice is actually pretty different.
They're trying to go for the C3PO kind of vibe instead of...
personally, I think the English voice of Ryushin fit the character design better, honestly. That voice
like
doesn't... Considering how bulky Ryushin is, that voice doesn't really fit to me. Sorry.
Like, if anything, you should be giving him more of a Grievous sound if you're trying to go for a Star Wars board character. Okay, that dialogue aside, I guess the interactions here seem fair and fine enough,
You
and they
maybe
are
still
done in a way...
use the way the characters are talking and addressing is consistent, like, Galdo's fairy calling him Galdikins.
So to the localization's team credit, they did keep some consistent terminology. The Galdikins from the original game is still here. A lot of the terminology from the original localization is still here, so it's good that the localization team was given a Bible of sorts to work with. Although,
This is why I have to
assuming
wonder.
they're completely different people.
Again, this is why I have to wonder if the unsubscribe... This is why I have to wonder if the unsubscribe bit actually was something from the original Japanese version, because outside of those bits, this all seems consistent. Like,
There's also,
granted,
there's another theory that I have, but again, because due to the way that, specifically the way that Fang and Eryn addressed Tiara using specifically the word beach, I wonder if the localizers knew in advance that the game was not gonna get an English voice dub, and as a result modeled the translation more, even a bit more freedom, because maybe some words would have not potentially been read out loud by the voice actors as a result.
You
I was
do
gonna
have a
say,
point,
why does-
because some companies do have that weird double standard where, oh, it's okay if something is spoken vocally so long as the subtitles don't portray it, or vice versa.
Hold on, let Dwebs say something. Go ahead, Dwebs.
I was gonna say, why does Merida sound like she's 15?
Who?
What?
That I've forgotten her name. It's that redheaded chicken.
Marissa.
Gandalf's fairy.
Marissa.
Marissa.
I actually.
I don't know.
I
It sounds pretty close.
I think the voice sounds fine. Honestly, I don't have necessarily much of a problem with most of it. Ryushin is more like the voice that doesn't fit for me. Although I do have to admit, although I do have to admit, I kind of agree with people like Wishing Tikal and other Western fans. I do kind of miss the English VAs. They, if anything, because they did add, even if slightly, something more of a charm to the game for me.
Yeah, like,
Okay,
call
like-
me biased, but I do
you finish
feel like
first,
the
yeah.
English. Call me biased, but I do feel like the English VAs, for the most part, may have injected a bit more life into stuff. That's not to say that this voice acting is bad, but I'll admit a lot of his voice acting does kind of sound a bit dime a dozen isekai or whatever fantasy voice acting stuff. Again, they
Miss
do their
Arla
jobs
the
just
Assassin.
fine overall. It's just that, I don't know, I feel like there was more variation and uniqueness in the
I
voices
swear.
in the English dub.
I swear, sometimes there's those occasional lines where I have to hold on. Was there any actual context that warranted this line? Like Miss Holly the
Because
Assassin.
she's stealing the last of food that Galdo wanted.
How does that?
Like an assassin.
But
Okay. In the context of this, she's moving swiftly like a ninja, and ninja in Japan are commonly also regarded as assassins.
The
I-
same thing
because-
about not wanting to say the word Shinigami and calling it something Reaper.
go ahead, Chris.
Because okay, I'm not saying it's like this in every bit of Japanese voice acting audio I've heard, but a lot of times I see them whenever I watch something in Japanese. It feels like, I don't know. It feels like the voices sound a bit too old or too young for certain characters. Like I've mentioned before, the big go-to example that I use a lot, like how I think they kind of missed the joke with Plankton and SpongeBob SquarePants. Like, the joke is supposed to be, he's supposed to be small, but think he's big, and therefore he has a big booming voice. But in Japanese, they gave him a kiddish voice because
Napoleon
he's
complex.
small.
Something similar
wait.
happened to my country's version.
All right.
That's a good point, actually. Pippin showed up on the loading screen. I think Pippin's the only party member who did.
No,
He'll show-
also Happel.
Yeah,
because
there's also
remember,
Happel.
those two get recruited after the first time skip.
Yeah, I remember. And there's no time skip in this version. There's no time travel in this version of the story. As a result, Ethel and Pippin will show up later. Hey, Lola.
Oh,
Real
actually, I thought that was
sunshine
gonna mean
in
that.
these murky waters.
I honestly thought that meant that Ethel was dead because I could have sworn
No.
at this point in the original timeline we killed her, but I guess
No.
it's still before that.
Fortunately, unlike the original game, you don't have, regardless, you don't have to do all of her side quests for her to join the party. She will join the party regardless of what you do eventually.
That means shit gets serious.
Which means I don't have to do any Lola's missions for this playthrough. So yay.
If I may ask, are there any overall value of doing side quests outside of getting
Yes.
Furies or
Unlike,
Fairies?
yes, that's one aspect that this game I will acknowledge does improve over the original. Is that the side quests actually have their own stories to them. Unlike the original game, where the side quests were purely just gameplay driven, with no attempt to contextualize them at all, which is why I didn't do any of them in our original run. There was no need to. Especially because you were just the side quests were just Lola's and just redoing the exact same dungeons again, so there was no point, right? In this one, we actually have more proper side quests and actual quests with actual storylines and reasons for why we're going on this quest to begin with. They're not not particularly great reasons, but they're there. Go on.
Whereas, to offer a counterpoint and to be fair to Japanese voices, the first time I heard Aku's Japanese voice in Crash Bandicoot, and funny enough, he came first actually before the English one. He actually fit the character really well. It's just old, wise sensei type character in that version.
Yep. Anyway,
Alright, so what are we doing now here?
We need to go to the tower, the broken tower.
according to Lola, there's a Fury in the subterranean tower. So yeah, already we're going to the subterranean tower. Interesting.
And Sherman had to do something before getting here.
That's a fintail. That's a fintail. Unlike the original game, this never comes back. Like he apparently just had something harmless to do. Like
well, we do know from the beginning that he turns evil.
Oh no, that is true. That is true. But it has nothing to do with what he just said, Theo. That whole thing where he said, "Well, I had to do something," that never comes back again. I don't know why they even put that in the script there.
I'm gonna wait and see.
True, yeah. I'll wait and see. But it would be weird if nothing does come of that because we know he becomes evil.
Yeah,
and
not in this version.
That was
In this game, he does not become evil. That's the thing. In this game, he does not become evil. In either of the two timelines. Or the two routes, I should say. The two routes, I should say. There's two story routes for this game, and in neither of them does Sherman become evil. And yes, I know what you're gonna say. What about that? That you'll see. You'll see what I mean.
Oh god, that was a fake Sherman, wasn't it?
You'll see. Blah blah blah.
Okay.
That was a bad sentiment, Fang.
When did my script for Fairy Fencer get in here?
Please get in line. I'm supposed to be the wrong writing for Compal Hard.
Hey, well, I want to try, but I want to have a go.
Now, Dwibs, Tio relishes his job, working on
Alright.
the factory. Oh, too much. We shouldn't take it from him.
Alright, so yeah, as you can see, it's the exact same map screen. And once again, we will never venture outside of this one area. As far as I can tell, the world of as far as I can tell, the world of FSF is just this place, and there's nothing outside of this. So
Like, it's like what it's shown at the beginning of Strange World. There are these invalicable mountains, and I guess people tried to go across them, but without success.
and now here's
It's
the thing.
interesting because I recall the original world map being stationary, but this one we can actually move the cursor.
No, we could do this in the original game
camera
too.
with us around.
No, we could do also that in the original. I tested it recently, Jova.
Yep.
It's just that Pedro did not showcase it.
Not that it matters really. Anyway, here's the basic gist of it. In the original game, you might remember how you learned your skills for your fairies. In Fang's case, of course, that would be Eryn. In this game, Sting streamlined the process where you just win fairy points, and those are your ability points, and you just get them to unlock how many skills you want. Since I'm on New Game Plus, I can carry over all of the fairy points that I've earned in my previous playthroughs, which means I already can just max out all of my fairies right from the get-go.
I guess
Mind you,
you
you
call
need to
that
take it- you
quality
need
of
to
life
take it-
improvement.
You need to take into account. Again, it's slightly similar to what you expect in a Tales of game when it comes to New Game Plus. Mind you, you have to take into account the grade system, which is new to this game, instead of having, the area of effect and you roaming around a small area, in 3D.
Oh.
There's never any reason to not get a skill. So at the moment you get a skill that is unlockable, just unlock it. Like there's no real unlocking a skill can only benefit you. So there's not really
But
any.
the real question, Pedro, do the challenges like jump 50 times return?
No.
What a
How would that
shame.
even be possible?
Instead, you have missions too. You have missions like those too, but in here they're called missions instead of challenges, and it's something that's only can be done in the combat. Like for example, use this move 10 times. Use this move 3 times. Win with Fang as the MVP 5 times. And yes, there's an MVP. So every time you win a battle, whoever did the best in the combat gets an MVP award. Again, I have to question the localizers on there because that's a Western term. And you gain whoever is the MVP of said battle gains extra XP and FP. That being said, too, no, the sound effect for that sound effect is still here too, but it's only for when you complete one of those missions, and it's nowhere near as frequent here. So that problem was fixed. You're not going to be hearing that every 10 seconds here. So
No shucks.
So, Pedro, yeah, I mean, okay, obviously I'll save which game you prefer overall for the final thoughts, but gameplay-wise specifically, which do you prefer, this or the original?
The original.
In regards to gameplay, how quests are completed, and all that jazz.
The original. While this game does have some things that it does better, I still prefer the battle system of I still again. Keep in mind, I'm audience. I'm in the process of playing the first Neptunia PS3 game right after this, so I'm going to get into the Neptunia series soon. So keep my thoughts on Neptunia on hold for now. But I will say based on my experience from but I will say no. But remember, Jova, Refrain Chord, the original game, I mean, is literally a reskin Neptunia. It's the exact same battle system, the exact same structure, the exact same dungeon.
Now that I think about it.
Remember, the original Refrain Chord was made by the Neptunia team, all of them, the Sunaku, Kenji Kaneko, Naoko Mizuno, all of them.
You've actually got me thinking. Do you think maybe they wanted to do the complete different battle system to try and make this more unique from Neptunia?
No, well, keep in mind, Joe, but this is a spin-off made by a different team. So, Naoko and her team were not involved in this at all. So.
I mean, look, we've seen plenty of times where spin-offs or sequels are made by different teams, but still retain the gameplay overall. Like, I have to wonder if the reason we have this gameplay shift was because they were trying to give Refrain Chord more of its own identity, because, like, man, call this.
That's the thing. This isn't. If that was their idea, then they failed, because Sting, the developer of this game, they also made a strategy RPG for a Neptunia spin-off that plays exactly like this too. So this is a reskin version of that previous Neptunia spin-off that they made. So if that was the idea, then they failed there, Dova. Sorry.
What you're saying is that it's Refrain Chord's fate to essentially just be Neptunia with a coat of paint.
Basically, yeah. In the meantime, real quick, let me just mention something real quick, Joe, about the credits of this game, because the character designer for this game is not Tsunaku, because in 2018, Tsunaku left Compile Heart because she wanted to be near her family, because apparently there were some problems with her family, some health issues or whatever it was. I'm not privy to the details. Oh yeah, there's a system where you can talk to your fairies. This was kind of there in the original game, but in here it's actually you have a lot of stuff you can do. As you can see, the fairies have nothing interesting to say. It's just inane shit that doesn't mean anything. So I'm not gonna bother with this past this first attempt.
I suppose to give them credit, and this was a factor in the original game, if I recall correctly, but they did voice every single one of them, I believe.
Not that but as you can see, their dialogue is useless and a waste of my time, so I'm not gonna bother. Yeah, I get items for it, but...
Look at all the different personalities that you get from each fairy. Isn't that charming?
No, not really, no. But
I'm sorry, but her personality doesn't match how her face looks. Like, her face suggests that she's a serious, combat-ready fairy, but the tone of her voice sounds like she's a happy-go-lucky Genki girl.
Because remember, the ribbon thing on her hair makes her look like a cat girl, so we're going for that.
Yeah, okay, so...
Like, at the very least, I get it. They probably couldn't afford to give them different expressions, but give her a happier expression that actually matches the tone of her voice.
Here, once again, running gag. Jova, we're on the budget of a turkey sandwich, not a ham sandwich this time, a turkey sandwich. So, sorry, we can't do that.
Think of it. Let me guess, they recycled fairies from the original game.
All of the returning, yes, all of the returning fairies are using the exact same sprites, yes.
Well, no, I do seem to see different artwork for some.
No, too. It's just that we now get to see all... No, trust me, I checked. They're all the same thing. But, yeah, you can actually listen to the sound test in this game. I'm like... That's another thing that this game does improve over the original. I'm guessing Sting also probably did this in their Neptunia spin-off that they made. You get to listen to the entire soundtrack. You unlock music. Every time a music gets heard for the first time in-game, it unlocks here. So you can re-listen. As you can see, there's certain tracks that were... There you go, too. This is the My Chemical Romance discount track that you called out and asked me about in the original playthrough, except is the Refrain Chord instrumental version this time. Per snapper for the vocal original, because it's so bad it was stupid.
So are those blocks of tofu that are dancing?
They're a specific monster from the game, and they have them down there because... another thing that I like is that, unlike the original game, you can rewatch every single cutscene in the game, both main and sub, as in side quest stuff. So, As a result, it's going to make showing off the alternate route a lot easier. I'll just show you all the cutscenes in a row, so I don't have to do. So yeah, that way you guys I don't even have to play all those battles all over again. So
I guess to be fair, the only thing we'll really be missing is you moving a cursor to certain parts.
No,
of the
trust
road,
me.
Also, the actual
maybe some
boss
bouts
fight.
of battle. Getting to that.
Trust me, Jova. Once you trust me, Jova, it gets to a point where every battle is basically the exact same thing because the combat is very basic. But to continue answering your question, Jova, real quick, I do prefer the original game, or specific. Well, Advent Dark Force. That's the better of the two versions. Because I really like the Neptunia battle system, and for as bad as the story of the original game was, it was better paced. At least it felt like stuff was constantly happening. I'm not kidding you, Jova. There's going to be so many scenes in this game where they take 7 minutes just to convey something that could be so easily conveyed in 3. The cutscenes go on for so long, and unnecessarily so, in my opinion. Anyway, let me just finish my point that I was trying to make earlier. The character designs for this game, for all the reasons that I've already explained, were not done by Tsunaku. They were done by a guy called Ryoko Tsugawa, and according to Moby Games, he's from Sting. So I actually got so that whoever did a new character designs tale, it's not even someone from Compile Heart. Just to give you an idea of how little it seemed they cared about this one. They didn't even have the Tsunaku successor in-house to design these new characters. They got someone from Sting themselves provided their own character designer for this game.
Remind me the name, sorry.
Ryoko Tsugawa. The only credit he ever has from aside from this game is a game called Dokapon Kingdom, which I'm guessing is probably another Idea Factory game.
It's their Monopoly clone, yes.
Okay.
It's actually pretty
I was about to
fun.
ask if maybe this Sting has huge renown and it's a good thing they were bringing them in, but apparently it's just a thing.
Apparently they're just a small developer that does work for other companies. They don't actually make their own stuff. Anyway, the actual proper spiritual successor for Tsunaku at Compile Heart is Katsuyuki Hirano. He did character designs for Dragon Star Varner. Remember, that was released right after Tsunaku left. He did the 2D graphics for Mary Skelter 2. He did the character designs for Neptunia Virtual Stars, Neptunia Reverse, Neptunia, the Southern Kagura crossover with Neptunia, and he recently did for the most recent mainline Neptunia game, Neptunia Sisters vs. Sisters. He did the character design. So even though, and honestly, if you told me that game had Tsunaku as a character designer, I would have believed you, because I will give Compile Heart this. They found someone who has a style that is, as far as I can tell, indistinguishable. I'm guessing he studied under her, because it says here that he did 2D designs for all the previous Neptunia games and other stuff. So I'm guessing he's a Tsunaku pupil, most likely, kind of like Roberto Ferrari and again Kobayashi Art Nomura, right? Because I cannot even, if you told me Sisters vs. Sisters has Tsunaku as a character designer, I would have believed you, because I cannot tell a difference from his and hers designs, to be honest with you. They look the same to me. So kudos to you, Mr. Hirano. You did a good job.
Yeah.
So see you for the next part, everybody.
So yeah.
So yeah.